The atmosphere of the place is quite special. It's not quite one thing, not quite the other. I think that comes from being part of the debatable lands, a no man's land, and with that comes lots of myths and legends. And if you are sort of susceptible to the vibes of a place, you can pick up the feeling of things that have happened here in times past and people who have lived here. I was struck by the beauty of the place, but not a soft, rolling beauty. A beauty of wildness incomparable with anywhere else. The hills, the woods, the river and the burn. It's just such a beautiful, wild, untamed area. We arrived in Gilsland in December 1983, parked in the Bridge Inn car park, got out of the car, and it was the first breath of fresh air that I had had since moving away from the coast in Sunderland. I mean, it was sort of raining, and a bit of sleety snow, clouds in the sky, a typical winter day. But the breath of fresh air was just like medicine to the soul, really. The Poulters Burn divides the village into 2 counties. I always remember when the stepping stones over the river, the middle one was washed away one heavy winter. And because it was the one right in the middle, Northumberland didn't think of it as theirs, and Cumbria didn't think it was theirs either. But anyway, it was eventually replaced with another one. My daughter and I have moved a lot, and we've been on the fringes, I guess you say on the edge of most communities, for a long time. Lockdown was quite hard because I was on my own. Generally, I quite like being on my own, but there's a point where you want to see people, and the house I was in was awful. We had that big storm, and all this water started pouring in through the windows. I've got a lot I need to sort out. And you try to get some security, but you can't control the skies, and the landlord wasn't doing anything about it. Then Sue invited us up one day, me and my daughter. You know, like to say, just come up to the farm, if you need to. We went up over the summer and it was great. And then I don't think she realised that I would never leave. I was camping at first in a canvas bell tent, and that had a little stove in it, and that was really cosy for the summer, you know, into autumn. But then it kept raining. We had these massive posts in the ground to keep the tent down for the wind. All of a sudden, they just popped out, and I couldn't get them back in. Sue and Alan have helped me convert a horse trailer into a tiny house, and I'm moving in this weekend. Last lockdown, I couldn't see anybody, but this lockdown, I'm making a home for myself. To me, social distancing is nothing. I've lived that life for 15 years. I've actually been better since the lockdown than I was before, because everybody's now living the way that I live, you know? Before lockdown, I used to go to the coffee morning at the village hall on Wednesday, and to the chapel on Thursday, but now they're not happening. Now I spend my time between the house and the bus shelter across the road. I'll have a little wander, have my cigarette, and then come back again. A lot of our amenities have been shut down, but people have been adaptable. We will try and support the village, but your heart goes out to those parts of the village that depended on tourism. All the bed and breakfasts, the pub. But it's just been a case of trying to adapt. Bill Sowerby was my uncle. That'd be before your time, I guess. But he did very well, because when Spade Adam was at its height, he had the contract for all the bussing to and fro from all the villages and towns for all the workers going up there. And the centre of Gilsland was really thriving. As a teenager, I used to work at the garage. I used to drive taxis up and down to the Gilsland Spa Hotel when it was a convalescent home. I used to work in the pub as well, the station. And all the people who were supposedly convalescing used to escape down to the pub on a Saturday night. I used to drive them up and down. That was until I crashed into the bridge once, and that was the end of my driving career. When Emma and David were small, we would walk down to the village, and we would be welcomed by Auntie Gwen, as we called her. She lived in Mumps Hall, where the House of Meg is, and so she told us all the stories of Meg the Witch, a landlady of disrepute, in cahoots with thieves and moss troopers. The history is quite tangible. I never get tired or bored. There is a story about the Cold Lad, whose uncle took him onto Thirlwall Common in the middle of a storm and left him to die. If you are on the common and speak the words, cold, cold, aye, cold, and you'll be cold forevermore, the ghost of the pitiful 6-year-old boy will appear. When I was at school, and even at university, I used to bring my friends home during the holidays. And we would go up to Crammel Lynn, to the waterfall, and kind of just wander around the area. And if you go down to Willowford, past the long stone steps and the Roman bridge, there is somewhere we call the Secret Islands. It's not really secret, or a real island. It's just a really nice place to go. I used to work for a glossy magazine, and whenever we did an article on Northumberland, it would be Alnwick Castle, Bamborough, the beaches or the rolling Cheviot Hills. This part of Northumberland doesn't look like that. It's a bit wilder. Picturesque is the wrong word. Still really beautiful, but much less tamed. I love the fells. It's so barren. I absolutely love the open space. The skies are bigger. They go on forever. And the roads weave endlessly through the landscape. Each season has a duty, a fascination, and a magic to it. I just enjoy every single season because the scenery is so beautiful. As the year turns, I just celebrate every season.